Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Limitless Health Club. And I'm coming to you from a new space. We have a new office on the East Coast now, and I just arrived today, so I don't have the lighting organized that well, but I am here, and I'm happy you guys are here, ready to talk about how we can have limitless health. And last week, if you did not watch that video or you did not join us, I strongly urge you to watch that class because it was really thorough about why we call this club the Limitless Health Club, the 3 steps to healing and to having immaculate health, and the 5 missing things from all health regimens, and numerous components in between all of that. It was really thorough. Each time we have a health club meeting, I will talk about those 3 steps a little bit. Last week, we just did it in very much detail. Tonight, we'll talk about it a little bit, but I have some other things I want to talk about. And of course, I will take questions. But first, I'm going to have us just close our eyes, put your feet on the ground, take a couple of deep breaths, and we're just going to drop in and get centered, come into our healing space. I decided that it's really important on each of these health club meetings that we do some treatments as well. So feel your breath come in and out through your body. You can use your nose or your mouth. Try to shift your shoulders back over your hips. And just let out some stress and tension of the day, of the week. Mercury's still in retrograde. I had about 8 different things wrong with my computer today, traffic, etc. So just let it go and breathe out. We're going to do the body talk statement. You can download this for free on the free download section of juliehealth.com. I will say it slow enough so that you can say it out loud if you're alone in your room. If you want to say it in your mind, you can do that as well, especially if other people are in the room. But I want you to say it like you really mean it, like it's true. If you say it, the words, and they're not strong, say them again, repeat. Here we go. Body. You are healthy and safe, loved and healed. You easily dissolve any burden, toxin, stress, or excess weight in your path. For this, I am truly grateful. Now that one, keep your eyes closed, stay in your zone. That one was for the body. But I also have one for your mind. Let me just find that one. So stay in your zone for just a second. That's it. Just disappeared on me. Mind. You are healthy and clear, happy and balanced. You easily release old traumas, stress, and other people's energy that no longer serve my highest good. I am balanced and grateful. So that's for the body and the mind. And I just came up with a mind one on a suggestion from somebody, or maybe myself, just a few days ago. I've been working with it for a few weeks since. When you're ready, you could open your eyes. If you want, you can stay. If you're still in your zone, stay in the zone. Just stay breathing out. And just feel your breath move through your body. And so I have one little tight spot, so I'm just going to inhale into that spot and exhale. And healing is really as simple as just taking a couple of minutes to yourself. I call it a personal healing moment. When you have little kids, after you drop them off at school or a party or a play date, you just sit in your car for a couple of minutes and take a few breaths without the phone, without the music. You can do the body talk or the mind talk or tapping, swiping, anything else, but just have a moment to just come back to your center. I know you do it sometimes at the beginning of a yoga class or the end of a yoga class, but it's not even long enough when you're there. They're always in a hurry to do so many other postures, and then you have to run out the door. So the more it's like a muscle, the more you come back into that calm, centered space, the more common it is for your body. It's a muscle memory. Sorry, let me just shut my messages to make sure. So centering ourselves. Healing happens when you're in a parasympathetic, calm state of mind, the place that you feel right now. When you have mind chatter and you can't stop thinking and you can't sleep really good, or the second you wake up, you're on your phone, or you're like TikTok, you're like, I know you know what TikTok is. I can't even handle TikTok. It's like so overpowering and fast, and I don't even know what to do when I open it. There's just so much going on. So I try not to even do it unless I'm trying to post a video. It's just too much, and it's overstimulation for the brain. It's overstimulation for my energy field. And so I do it less because I don't like coming out of this calm, peaceful state. I always want to come back here. I see people one-on-one all day long. I have a kid. I travel, I do things. I need my me time. And that is what helps me stay centered, is to just keep coming back to it every so often. I'm not restrictive of things, but I pick and choose when they are. And I certainly don't do it at bedtime or first thing in the morning. I also want to recommend blue light glasses, blue light shields for your screens. There's just a shield over the phone. I have the shield over the computer, the iPad, etc. We have them on the website. If you go to juliehealth.com to the favorites page, I was going to see if I could share it with you. I don't know if I could share that way, but let's see. Oops, somebody else is trying to come in. So if you go to juliehealth.com, as I said, Mercury retrograde, my computer is a little wackadoodle today. So you may or may not see it, but if you go to the web, and I'm on a hotspot because there's no internet here, and there we go. It's a little slow, but when you go to the website, under the do-it-yourself health, the first part is the free downloads, which I talk about a lot, the EMF information, and of course, the blog. I put a lot of information in there. If you want to learn one new thing every week, go to the blog. But if you go over to this favorite section here, hopefully you could see my screen, and everything is loading incredibly slow. These are some of my favorite tools that I use. Here's the blue light blocking glasses. We have these, both my son and I. So that way, when you're out in a public space that has terrible lighting, it's not destroying your eyes and stealing your melatonin. These are some EMF wraparound stickers for your phone. I'm sorry, for your headphones. And so everyone should have those. I'm just over here. Oops, that's my terrible circle. And then, of course, Thrive Market. Yep. Let me see why I can't move my screen anymore unless I stop that. Oh, okay. So then what I wanted to show you, and of course that's still on the screen, blue light locking shields right here. And you click on learn more. You should definitely have some of these OcuShields on your devices. We grew up, my age category, we got microwaves around age 13. I haven't had one in probably like 20 years in my house. So here they're popping up with coupons. There you go. So we don't know what the damage is to children that were born with iPhones and iPads in front of them. They've been watching Baby Brainy their entire life. Now you can't get rid of the devices. They're, in my house, we probably have about 12 and there's only 2 of us. So we know we love our devices, but we also like our eyes, and macular degeneration and seeing are very important, as is sleep. And the light takes away your melatonin. And my friends always make fun of me when I take pictures because they come out terrible, because I always keep the camera, I keep the light of my screen of my phone on dim all the way. It's so overpowering for my eyes. And I have good melatonin and I have balanced hormones. And as you may or may not know, melatonin is a hormone. So ruining your melatonin because of the blue light is not a great idea. And sleep is one of the number one problems people have today. So I do want to spend a few minutes talking about that. And that's why I recommend getting the shields, at least on the devices you use every single day, because there's so many things that are harmful. We just have to control the easy ones. And putting a shield on your tablet, your iPad, your laptop and your phone are no-brainers. It's a one-time purchase. They're not entirely cheap, but they definitely stay on for a while. Sleep. One of the things I wanted to talk about was sleep. The most important thing about sleep is that you have 5 hours of head pillow contact. So when your head is down, if your phone is remediated for EMFs and you have a Q disc for the 5G on the back of it, like me, you can have your phone on your nightstand. So I sleep with my phone not much more than a foot away from me, because when it's remediated, it's actually healing me. So my phone is over there. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I already told you I keep my phone on the lowest light, and I do sleep with my eyes covered with an eye mask, because that helps you go deeper in to sleep, deeper into REM sleep. And you secrete melatonin in the wee hours of the morning between like 2 and 5. So you make more melatonin if you're in that deep sleep. You have to be in the deep sleep to make melatonin, but we want to make melatonin. To get into the deep sleep usually has something to do with mind chatter, as we just talked about. I know a couple of people just chimed in late, but getting into the calm zone. The other thing that affects sleep is the gallbladder. When you're lying in bed, wide awake, no matter how tired you are, or you have poor sleep, or you're like in and out of sleep, it's usually your gallbladder. But if you watched last week's video or class and you or you are proficient at some of the things we talk about here, then like the BioField, then you will know that it might not just be your gallbladder, it might actually be a different part of your assembly line. So the first thing I'm talking about now is the BioField. The BioField is I'm jumping a little bit to give you the same point about sleep. The BioField is the space around you. When the BioField is intact, healing is limitless. When you don't have a BioField, all kinds of chaos can happen. So when you have the Q disc is different from the stickers, for who's ever asking that. We've sent out an urgent email about that a couple of weeks ago, and I think a second time, saying that the energy of the planet has changed, and those flat stickers that we've used for the past 8 years do not work at all. In fact, they're more harmful than helpful. Everyone has to switch to the 5G stickers. They're 25% off if you have bought some of the other stickers from us. It sucks. I know usually EMF purchases are a one-time purchase, but not right now. Not now, and it's not our fault. You can thank AT&T and T-Mobile for that. The more towers they put in, the more harmful it is. And so something has changed on the planet, and those EMF stickers do not work at all. So we are talking about the BioField. When the BioField is intact, healing is limitless. And so we need to have a BioField. And so as I was talking about the BioField, I was talking about sleep. If I was to wake up in the middle of the night, which happens like once or twice a month at most to me, but it actually happened the last 2 nights. And I've traveled, and I have some emotional and things going on in my life right now. So my body was going through some things, because your emotions affect your physical body. So, and I was living in someone else's space, and their energy was not helpful for me. And so I did wake up twice each of the last couple of nights. And so when I wake up, I kind of want to know what time it is, because you need to have 5 hours of head pillow contact. And if I have to go to the bathroom, or I want to, usually that's the only reason I want to know. I like to know what time I wake up, because if I wake up between 3 and 4, I know it's my liver. Between 4 and 5, it's my gallbladder. 5 and 6 are my kidneys. So I like to know, because whatever hour I woke up, the next day I'm going to take nutrients, do a little extra castor oil. If I'm mudding or lasering, I'm going to take care of that organ in particular, because something in my assembly line woke me up. And so I have my phone on the lowest light, and I like barely try to peek, and I just try to see what the first number is, and then I put my phone down, and I usually go right back to sleep. I also keep nutrients on my nightstand for the 3, 4, and 5 a.m. hours, because I like to sleep. And so if I do wake up that random night, if I wake up at 3, I can take reishi or turmeric. If I wake up at 4, I take bilivin, sometimes the liquid gallbladder. And if I wake up at 5, I take Renavin or something for the kidneys, like Immunovin or olive leaf, Hisanol, depending on what type of products I'm presently on for my custom program. I am always on a custom nutrition program. That's an important point I can come back to in a minute, because I want to finish the sleep topic. 5 hours of head pillow contact. If you go 4 hours up, 4 hours up, that's 8 hours of sleep. You will actually feel better if you go 5 hours wide awake. You'll feel better the next day. So the 5 hours of head pillow contact is the most important thing for sleep. Sleep is the most important thing, second to the EMF remediation. I mean, there's so many ways to talk about what the most important thing is for our lives and our health. But when you sleep, your blood sugar is balanced, your hormones regenerate, you feel fresh, your digestion is better, so many things about sleep. So it's really important to get sound, deep sleep. And it's not one of the top 3 steps for health. The top 3 steps, which are, I think, on this share, we have the BioField, the assembly line, and the interference field. And that is what I have up on the screen. Oops. So BioField, keep your BioField intact. Toll booths, scanners at the checkout counters, unremediated phones, all destroy your BioField. It's a plasma energy field. You cannot see it, but when that field has holes in it, it's like leaky gut syndrome. So I just got here literally 2 hours ago to this new office, home office on the East Coast that I have, that we will be seeing people in Miami if you have any friends that live down here and want to come in for some healing. And so what is the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to take the Liquitech, our EMF paint, and I am going to, it's so small, it's like the size of my finger. I use organic cotton, organic Q-tips, because cotton is one of the top 6 GMOs. I don't want to stick that in my ears or wash my face or take my makeup off with GMOs. Hopefully you don't either. So I'm going to take my organic Q-tips. I just dip a little bit in there, and I put a few dots on the circuit breaker, which I will have to find after our health club meeting tonight. I will put a few dots on the circuit breaker, on the air conditioning unit, on any Wi-Fi router, anything related to internet access. Absolutely. If there was a pool, I would be putting it on the circuit breaker of the pool. Any water meters, any kind of meter. And so I'm in I think it's 4, I honestly don't even know. I think it's 4 stories. So there's probably something in the basement or on the ground floor for the whole building. And I will actually go down there and put some EF paint on that as well when no one's looking, and remediate it. I also put it on the ends of my wires, which I don't have handy. Let's see if I have a remediated wire nearby. it sometimes peels off a little bit on the wire. So this one, it peeled off a little bit. But what you would do is you would cover, this is of course a phone charger. You would cover this part and this part, these two parts, not the part that, not the brick and not the metal part, but you would cover this and this part with the Liquitech paint. And it actually blocks harmful EMFs, and it also soothes the electricity. So super, super important. Since I just got here, that is absolutely the first thing I'm going to do. I was staying at another place for a few days, and it was the first thing I did there, even though I wasn't staying there for a long time. Why? Because I don't really want to sleep in a place that isn't remediated, because EMFs harm. They pull nutrients out of your body, they pull minerals out of your body, which affect your bones, and they create like this chaotic energy. I might be trying to be calm and get into this Zen state so healing can happen, but if this is all around me, it makes it a little extra challenging no matter how calm I am. So BioField, EMF remediation, getting some sleep, and I was starting to talk about nutrients, and that is one of the topics I want to talk about tonight. But I think just because there's a couple of new people here, I will go back just for a minute to these are the 3 steps to health: maintaining your biofield, treating your assembly line, AKA your detox system, and then healing yourself, balancing out, clearing out the toxicity from your interference fields. The assembly line of your detox organs: liver, gallbladder, kidneys, intestines, lymph, pancreas, stomach, and spleen are part of that. Those are like an oil change for your car. If they are not maintained all the time, you will end up having all these different quirks. And as I was talking about with the sleep, the liver, gallbladder, and the kidneys all have different symptoms with them, as well as different hours that they wake you up. And so if your kidneys are off, and off can mean tired, weak, depleted, toxic, or have parasites or bacteria or bugs. And all of those things are common. Everybody has one or more of those at all times going on in their body. When any part of your assembly line is weak, tired, or toxic or stressed, the problem could be at that organ or any of the ones before it. So the symptoms you can feel could be 5 steps earlier. So the liver, they call it the angry liver, anger, depression; gallbladder, bloating, fear, nervousness; kidney is klutzy, clumsy, hard to make decisions, and your equilibrium is off. And then digestion, most of you know what that means: constipation, right? Or weird bowels. And so like a simple share that I can have right now without going into detail is, before I flew across the country, that last day, since I'm opening up a new space here, my bowels were weird. And it was just, I was fine. I'm like all ready to go, but something inside me, nervousness, excitement, whatever you want to call it, the emotional body and the energetic body affect the physical body. That led to poor sleep. The girl that I was staying with was trying to get me to use all these products of hers, because she was like, your hair is everywhere, and you're this and you're that, and she thinks she knows anything. She thinks she knows more than me, which is hard to do when it comes to nutrients and your health, but she's not a health professional. And anyway, so she was suggesting all these things, and I'm like, it's not that. Like, it's just, I'm going through something. I'm just going through a healing crisis, a detox reaction, a moment, and it affects your body. So I'm going to do whatever I can to balance it out. So I go in the ocean, because that's like soaking. Every time you soak, it's an ionic exchange. It acts like a vacuum cleaner and sucks everything out of your body. That is why soaking is such a big part of all of the programs that I put people on. You have to soak. Every time I have a one-on-one session with someone, they have to soak that night, because we're changing their body. We're reprogramming and repatterning your cells, and things are moving around. And every time you soak for at least 20 minutes, you have a clean slate. So I feel amazing now. And I just got to my own apartment a couple of hours ago, and I feel fantastic. So a lot of that stuff about the energy and the emotional stuff It just affects us. So BioField has to be intact, assembly line has to work, and then your scars and trauma spots throughout your entire life, from the time you were in utero until today, every scar, every broken bone, every stitches, every trauma like car accidents and whiplash, hitting my head on the car door, falling off a tree, on a balance beam, all of those traumas make dents in your body, which make dents in your meridians, which are connected to your organs and glands. And they won't show up on medical tests, no matter how many CAT scans or MRIs they do, but they will take down other organs over the course of 20 to 30 years. And that usually is the cause of all of your health problems, if it wasn't something like I described what was going on with me, which is just like a momentary shift in your body. But that's it. Those are the 3 steps to healing. I will repeat these pretty much every time we have a Limitless Health Club meeting. The reason it's called the Limitless Health Club is because when your biofield is intact, and there's not like leaky gut, leaky biofield, when it's intact, healing is limitless. Every single time. Every single person I work with on a one-on-one always has a biofield by the end of their 2nd or 3rd visit max. Some people take an entire 2 hours till they even have a biofield, no matter how many lights or lasers or treatments I give them. But as soon as I do treatments on anyone, as soon as you go to acupuncture, massage, any other treatments, functional medicine doctors, whatever you're doing, the second you pick up your phone, your biofield is destroyed. It might get recovered when you put the phone down and you go outside, you tap, you swipe, you soak. But how about when you have your phone with you for more than 5 seconds the entire day? So if you want to have your devices with you and you want to have health, you have to remediate your devices. The paint doesn't work on the phones as well as it does on things that are locked into position, like, and like I said, the wires. So you have to have the stickers. I call them stickers. They are little stickers. I was not forcing people to get the 5G stickers. We've had them for about a year because the other stickers were working great. But suddenly one day, people that I see all the time one-on-one were coming in with headaches and all these places around their head and neck where there was no energy. And I started to do some testing and investigating, and fast forward, those stickers do not work at all. And in fact, some people think they're more harmful. So they want you to cut them on a diagonal, throw them in the garbage, and throw them outside of your house in the garbage as soon as possible, because they do have weird energy with them. Okay, so that's a lot of the introductory stuff, of course, with the 3 steps to health. I want to talk for a couple of minutes about supplements in general, because I get these questions every single day, all day long, from everybody. For example, with the person that I was just staying with, wanting me to use these amazing hair care products. She didn't stop talking about them. Her mom's using them. She's using them, all these things. And I don't use any products unless they test well energetically. I use the O-ring, which I'm not going to teach now, but I do teach sometimes in classes, and I think we will do it in this health club sometime in the future. But if it does not test well to energy, I won't use it, recommend it, put it on my body, in my hair, on my skin, in my laundry, or in my house for that matter. So I already saw that there's a bunch of toxic cleaning supplies here. They are locked away in a cabinet, but I'm probably going to end up giving them to the landlord and say, take these home until I move out, because I don't want to breathe them. All that stuff evaporates. It's not good for you. So Raid or whatever, Endust or Pledge or Lysol, it's just toxic. When you breathe that stuff, if you spray it or you do a Clorox wipe, the toxicity goes into your hand right away. Your skin is your biggest organ. First place it goes, the beginning of the assembly line, right away. So if you think about how many times a day your assembly line gets little hits, it's about 75,000. So if your assembly line is not working well, especially on the back end of the assembly line, you're going to end up having digestion, fear, anger, and irritability and stress. It's just everyone, that's why liver always comes up on liver enzymes, and everyone talks about the liver. So because it's the first part of the assembly line and it gets 75,000 hits a day, constant. And it's like the I Love Lucy episode when the candy is coming in at the candy factory so fast and they literally can't process them. They're stuffing them everywhere because the candies are still coming through. So change the word candy into toxin. That's what's happening in your body. Most detox programs are focused on the liver. Some of them are on the liver and the intestines, but except for the one that I created with a couple of other dietitians called the Simple Solutions Detox, no other detox program focuses also on the gallbladder, the lymph, and the kidneys. I haven't seen any. Feel free to send me one if you see any. I, in the past 20 years, have not seen anything else. And so it's really important. Don't just detox the liver, because you're still piling up more stuff in the kidneys, and then you're going to have kidney problems. And how many people do you know whose back hurts them? Well, the kidneys live in the back, or they're constipated. Well, you're just piling more stuff into the intestines. And so I was saying Clorox wipes, or if you're spraying Lysol in the air, or somebody's perfume, like every single one of those is a hit to your liver. And the same is true for toxic ingredients in things. And the supplements that we use, I'll grab a couple. Most of the supplements that I recommend and use are by Premier Research Labs, because they are the cleanest. They go to the end of the earth to test purity. So if they were getting turmeric from a grower, when the turmeric comes in, this is probably too much information, but I think people usually like hearing it. They get, let's say they get 3 barrels of turmeric. At this company, they test the top, middle, and the bottom, a sample from each barrel. At most companies, they test 1 sample. And most companies run it through their ELISA machine or some other scientific machine to look for heavy metals and such. But this company also tests energetically the same way that I do. And some things can not have metals or mercury in them, but they can have a toxic tag along. And just for an example, and Premier is not the only one, Metagenics has done what I'm about to tell you, that I'm aware of, and I'm sure other companies as well, but they were sent turmeric, and it was actually sugar that was painted gold. That's what they figured out. So they sent it all back, and then turmeric was on back order for I don't know how many months. And they just sacrificed not having turmeric. And all of my customers and clients were like, I need turmeric, I need turmeric. I'm like, I don't have one that I would even recommend for you. So we're going to have to do without it for now. Because that's how I feel about the quality of food or nutrients you put into your body, and the ingredients that you put on your body, and your laundry detergent. It's so important. After you hear what I just said about the assembly line and how many hits it gets a day, like how many can you cut out? And so most supplements, when you read the other ingredients, have all kinds of other stuff in them. And sometimes it's just 1 or 2 or 3 things. But right before COVID, so like December of 2019, I heard a gentleman speak, and he runs a third-party independent lab. And he said that he has 7 file cabinets filled with products. So people send their products that they just made, these supplements, they send them to him to independently test them and give you a profile of what's actually in there. And he said he had 7 file cabinets filled with products that have glass, paint, pharmaceuticals, or heavy metals in them. And these are vitamins. And these are sold at Whole Foods and numerous other places that people are buying supplements. The sum was 50 to 60% of supplements have those in there on some level. So if you're not using good quality products, then you have no idea what you're putting in your body. And that's just supplements, things that actually you're supposed to take to be healthy. What about your skincare and your facial products and the stuff you wash your body with every single day? All the products you grew up with, Crest and Dial soap. Sorry about that. Crest and Dial soap and Dove, they're toxic, and they're hormone disruptors, and they have phosphatates and all these different things in them. One of the free downloads is 13 cosmetic ingredients to avoid if you ever see, you should download that list. And if you ever see any of those, don't use the product. Otherwise, you're going to have to expend energy detoxing it, or you're going to have to sacrifice a part of your assembly line, or you're going to have to take supplements to balance out the harm that your favorite scented whatever is doing for you. So it's really, really, really important. I stand behind the supplements I use. People bring supplements in all the time, and I'm going to show you what I do with them. When somebody brings a supplement to me, it really doesn't matter what it says on the label. I toss some out immediately because I can read the label and I've tested so many, but I test products. It's hard because this one's kind of pale, but I test products. So if I test somebody using the O-ring to see if they test strong with this is if it's good for them. So someone could be so depleted that something that has one benefit and 50 harms in it might actually work for that person. But when you test it out here at an arm's distance, it has nothing to do with this body. It just has to do with, is it a good quality product? And is it with something I recommend? So I use 100% as, and 80% is the goal. If something tests to 80%, I will recommend it, use it, or sell it. So I put the pill literally in between the first two fingers and the thumb, and then we test it out here with an O-ring. So that's 20%. Then just the pointer, that's 40%. The middle finger is 60%. Almost, if a product doesn't test well to that much to those three fingers, I throw it in the garbage instantly. It's not something I would ever use. I would love it to test to the ring finger and the pinky, but I can tell you right now that most products and most foods on the market don't. So at my rock bottom minimum is 60%, but I'm always reaching for something to test to 80%. If there's a toxic tag along, or if there's pharmaceuticals, glass, or paint, it won't test well energetically. So, go through all your, come to an O-ring class. We don't have any scheduled right now, but, we'll ask us if you really want one. We've scheduled like 3 or 4 during COVID and nobody showed up even online. So haven't scheduled it in a while. You can schedule a private one with yourself and a few of your friends, and I'll teach it that way as well. That's easier for us. So I know people are going to show up. But in any event, if you know some other sort of energy testing, or you've learned it from me in the past, if it doesn't test well to at least 80%, it's going to cause a lot of toxicity and a lot of harm in your body over the course of time. If you're just taking it right now, one time, because you only need it right now, then it's probably fine, or better than if you were taking it on a regular basis. But if that is your multivitamin, your thing for your hair, your skin, your digestion, you are putting in more harm than good. So think again. So this is a good time for me to pause and take some questions. And otherwise, I could easily talk about something else. So there's 6 people right now, so I think it'll be okay if someone unmutes themselves and asks a question, but eventually we'll have to take questions in the chat. So does anybody have a question? I'll give it about a minute. Otherwise, I will, we're going to do breath of fire if no one has a question. No questions. Okay. So let's do breath of fire, because I like to do, as I was saying at the beginning, I like to do treatments when we're here so that you're not just sitting here on another Zoom call, that you're actually leaving, not just having information, but physically and emotionally feeling better. So I like breath of fire because it really releases toxicity and stress out of your body. You do it like if you haven't done it before, the easiest way to do it is like you're panting like a dog, like, and you can stick your tongue out. And then eventually you just close your mouth and you do the exact same thing with your whole body, but through your nose. So we're going to do about a minute and a half of breath of fire, and you're pulling your belly in every time. You just pull the belly in. So it's like pump, 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 pump as you exhale. So let's go ahead and do it. And of course, I'll be the only one that shows my face and looks silly, but hopefully you'll all be closing your eyes. So I'm going to put the timer on and begin. So breath of fire. And if your mind starts to chatter, do it harder or louder, because we're trying to we are quieting the mind and releasing stress, tension, toxicity, etc., out of the body. You can speed it up a little bit. Just under a minute left. You could do it. Keep going. And stop and just relax and just come back to normal breathing for a minute. And sometimes you get dizzy or lightheaded, so don't stand up yet. And just stay until all the energy is, stay quiet and maybe eyes closed till all the energy that's moving around moves around. All right, and then you can see if anybody has any questions now. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep talking a little bit. So I brought my amino acid. I don't travel without supplements and tools. I already showed you the liquid tech at the beginning that's going on the house. It's the EMF paint. I brought with me, I shipped some stuff to myself. So I brought my omega-3 candy-like superfood that I put sometimes just on a spoon and sometimes on my yogurt. I brought one of my newer favorite products, ASEA, both the drink and the gel. This one's actually a sample size, comes in a larger container. But if you're interested, we have samples, little ones. And because I was just taking a carry-on this time, I shipped stuff to myself. I always ship stuff to myself when I go on vacation in the United States. This one in particular is not a vacation, but if you go back to the Julie's favorite page, then let's see. If you go back to the Julie's favorite page, will you see, can we see the favorites page? How many Mercury retrograde things can I show you? See if I can do that. Nope. Oh yeah, we were here. It was this one in particular, but I don't know if I can go backwards. Here we go. Got it. So right here, Thrive Market. If you haven't been there yet, thrivemarket.com/JulieEHealth. I update some of my favorites at least twice a year. They have paleo, keto, gluten-free, all kinds of packaged goods. And once you spend $49, I think it might have just gone to $52. So once you spend about $52, shipping is free. You can set it yourself up with an app. And so I have shipped twice already to here products and snacks. So I always have stuff here. I don't travel without. I always send Mama Chia squeeze packs. My son and I each eat at least one a day. Goji berries, they go in my smoothie and also straight in my mouth. Chia seeds also go in my smoothie. If you haven't seen my smoothie ingredients, then it's on my Instagram page, but I think we were putting it on the website, so it might be there. I also have cacao nibs. You can take this my favorite smoothie recipe and edit it any way you want. I'll answer that question in a second. So I just packaged at home a handful of walnuts. I brought some sprouted pumpkin seeds. Everything I showed you so far, I got at Thrive Market. By the way, all of their prices are usually 60% cheaper than the store, and they're delivered usually to your front door in about 3 days. So I don't know why someone would not be using that simple solution. Paleo Nola, like one of the only cereals that I actually eat. It is grain-free granola, and they have it in about 8 to 10 flavors. So I had 3 other Zooms earlier today, and then I moved from where I was to where I am now, which is where I'm staying permanently for the next few months. Although I'm going back and forth to California, but now I have my own space. So now I'm setting up the kitchen. But when I was just staying somewhere else, I just brought little bits of, whatever. I brought like a half a packet, but now I'm going to order some more stuff for here. And I took a lot of this stuff on the plane with me, either on my first trip or my last trip. These were not from Thrive Market, but I do have sunflower seeds. So I had a really busy day today, and it was pouring rain, and I had to move like 3 suitcases and a bunch of stuff. Got here, tried an hour to figure out the internet and couldn't. So I'm just hotspotting for the moment. And in any event, was starving. And what I ate was a So Delicious yogurt, which I had because I also do Amazon delivery, because I don't know where Whole Foods is, not Amazon, but through Amazon, the Whole Foods delivery. And so I had it delivered to the apartment that I was staying in. And I got some lettuce and some grapes and raspberries, blueberries, and a handful of So Delicious yogurts. And I did that last time I was here. So I had one left for today. So I got to this apartment. I was absolutely starving, and I knew I had to teach this class about an hour later. What am I going to do? What would you do in that situation? I had a yogurt with me. I had the oil, I had the Paleo Nola, and I sprinkled some goji berries on top. So I had like a pretty substantial, like a bowl, like a million times healthier than an acai bowl because it's got nutrients. If I really wanted to, I also brought my currently favorite protein powder made out of the chocho fruit. This is the vegetarian protein that we have that has one ingredient. The only ingredient is the chocho powder, chocho fruit. That's it. We sell this now as well. 20 grams of protein and 200 calories for a third of a cup, which is actually a lot. So I had all of that. And then in my last delivery from Thrive Market, I had olives. So I just had like a bowl, and then I was still hungry. So I ended up eating like almost an entire jar of olives. And olives, olive oil, good fat, because most of the other food that I ate didn't really have any fat in it. I had the oil, but I had an open one that I just had a teeny bit left in. It took me a while to open the box that has this in it. I'm going to go backwards in the question order right now. Is an acai bowl healthy or not? I mean, it depends what they're blending the acai with. Most of them have sugar, or just, it's high in sugar. It's really not, it's got antioxidants, but it's also sweet. And what most places put on it is not necessarily healthy. So it depends how it's made and what you put on it. But it's usually a carbohydrate, high glycemic index, meaning high sugar overload in a short period of time. If you're starving like I was today, when your blood sugar is low, it will actually be fine, because if your blood sugar is below the threshold of where we ever want to be, then you physiologically need sugar to get back. And I was going to possibly teach about blood sugar tonight, but I will save it for next time, since we have a few more questions and we're almost out of time. But when your blood sugar is low, you need sugar to get back. But when you're here, if you eat sugar, you go up and then you crash and you end up down here. So it depends. If you just finished a workout and a cool down, your blood sugar starts to drop. You need something instant, but you don't need an overdose. So that's my comment on acai. Do I work with people who are exposed to mold? Yes. My son was just exposed to mold at the beginning of this year, and I've had a couple of other people with that. So absolutely. When you do mud therapy, it pulls mycotoxins out of your body instantly and you feel fabulous. But depending on how much mold someone was exposed to, there's a lot of other things we might need to do before we can mud. It depends on your BioField, your assembly line. We can't really start mudding we wouldn't start mudding your interference fields. We would start with your assembly line, which really is just going to make you feel better anyway. And so why did my son get mold and I did not when we live in the same house and the mold was in a common area? Number one, he spends more time in that area than I do. But number two, and more highlighted, is that I do mud therapy regular. And no matter how many times I ask him to do it, doesn't happen as often because he's a teenager. And so I am always mudding something, my hands, my feet, my liver, my kidneys. So the more mud therapy, it's like a magnet. It suction cups mycotoxins, heavy metals, and other junk out of your body quickly. And so that's why he ended up having issues and I didn't. And because he's not so proficient at mudding, it lingered a little bit longer than it should have for him. His legs were tired no matter what he did, and he's a teenager. He shouldn't have that. So anyway, that's that. And then if you work at an Apple store, how do you protect yourself from EMF? That is a fabulous question. Number one, having this with you is protection. But number two, I'm just wearing a gold necklace that I put my it's called a Q pendant. So it's a Q disc and a Q pendant. They both have the same symbol, which I think is called the flower of life. And it actually has there's special properties. I've seen it numerous places. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but if I put my hand, no, you need something like colorful behind it so you could see it. It's a Q pendant. And so I wear it, it's gold plated and it has layers of it. And so when I have wearables, because I'm actually wearing two things right now because I was moving and I didn't want to lose them. We have some jewelry made for us using the Liquid Tech, and we test everything with devices that are remediated. So we make sure that you can use the device while you have the jewelry on and your BioField stays strong. But I don't really travel meaning outside of my home usually, because my entire property is remediated for EMFs. Not this new one yet, but it will be. So I just wear it, and if it doesn't match, I have butterflies on here, I'll just tuck it in the back of the necklace so you don't see it. I didn't really need to wear two today, but I went down to the ocean, and so I don't wear the gold one to the ocean, so I wear the other one, and then when I jump in the ocean, I don't wear this either. I take it off because the earth remediates you as well. But so if you work in an Apple store or in like Times Square or Las Vegas or at a school where they have 5G towers outside, there's also a place on the 405 just after the Howard Hughes. It's like almost getting onto the 105 going south. When you're getting off one freeway to go to another, there's this building over here, and the building is painted black, and they hid the 5G towers, or whatever you call them, the things that look like missiles. They painted them black also, but there were like 40 on the one building. So if you work in that building, it's like the Erin Brockovich story. You are going to end up with cancer unless you're doing something about it. So if you're working at an Apple store with 1 million devices and 1 million people, you have to build your BioField desperately, and you need to wear a wearable because it's really just a problem. It's a big, big deal. So we have keychains, and my son will wear one of these pendants. We put it in one of those little baggies, and he'll just pin it inside his shorts. I don't just let him tuck it inside his shorts because he's lost a couple. So I pin it. We'll use like a little bag, or, the kind of thing jewelry comes in. The origami bags, and we pin it in something. But teenagers always have their devices with them. If they're wearing nothing, they have their thing with them. So when you remediate it, this acts like a shield also. So you could have double protection or triple like I do, because I didn't know the layout of this place yet. And even Liv, my assistant, was like, if you need me to ship you some boulders or other Vastu supplies, let me know. Vastu is like a term like feng shui, but it is so feng shui, you balance out the left and the right and you make it look pretty and it has a nice energy and flow to it. Vastu is when you take it to the next level and you add EMF remediation in with the feng shui. And in fact, Vastu is the parent term. Feng Shui branched out from Vastu, and Vastu became one of those hidden things that no one wanted you to know about until some of us with superpowers, I guess, figured it out. So I have Vastu people's homes. We have there's on the website, I showed you already, but see if I can get back there again. Here, this one actually. If you go back to the website under the do-it-yourself page, do-it-yourself health drop-down menu, and you click on EMF, we have an arsenal of supplies. So here's the Q disc on the top. On the left, this picture and information is about the pendant. You can see the picture there. On the right, we have the liquid tech. We talk more about EMF. See, it says join the Limitless Health Club to talk about EMFs. You guys are doing that. And on the bottom right here is the Wi-Fi, which is one of the devices we use. You just plug it in your house and it does the best Vastu that you can. There's numerous other devices that are coming out on the market. There are so many companies coming out with EMF remediation right now because people are finally realizing it's a real thing. And you can download any of these things. I wrote them all basically. And the one in the middle here is how you can do what you can do with a liquid tech paint. And I'm downloading it now so you can just get a view for it. If you drive a Tesla or an electric car, you absolutely must paint under your seat. So I don't know how I shrink where, oh, there we go. So you could see how you can do it on the meter, on the wires, more meters, more wires, Wi-Fi routers, and so on. And then we have your extenders also. You know, there's, and it used to be called LNP, so I don't know if we updated this sheet yet. I'll have to have someone fix that. So anyway, there are so many things you could do. As my mentor who taught me all of these things, and she's the one that makes the Q disc and the Q pendant, she said, so when it was still 4G, she said, so what if they up the ante and they make it 5G? They're just making more energy as long as we manipulate it into healing energy. So I taught at a conference last weekend about healthy menopause, and I was selling some of the Q discs, and there was a woman that had like no energy here, and on her head. I just tested a couple of random places. When we put the Q disc on her phone and she put the phone next to her, all of those organs or glands or body parts tested strong. So the Q disc does not, and any EMF that I use, EMF remediation, it doesn't just negate it. It actually turns it from harming you or killing you into healing you. So it is really that important, and it is an investment, and you just got to get one per device. It goes right in the middle, and we have pictures too. So I used to have 6 of those other flat stickers on my laptop next to the trackpad, and now I just have one Q disc on the top, you know, behind the camera on the part that flips up and down right in the over. I covered the apple because the apple is like brainwashing anyway. All brand things are. So the Q disc again on my phone or on the website. Does somebody want to see it? It's just a flat circle. This used to be $90, and so it's right under my screen. It used to be $90, and it literally used to be as thick as the cap on here. And no one wanted it. So I seeked out something that worked equally well, that was flat, and those were the stickers that we used for years. And then when it went to 3G, 4G, etc., we had to use more of them. But then one day they stopped working. So here's a picture of the Q disc on julieehealth.com on the EMF remediation page. So you can order them online. If you use the code, oh goodness, I think it's Limitless 15, then you get 15% off of everything on the website. If that doesn't work, then you can use I Love Myself if you want to order something online. And that's about all we have time for today. The Limitless Health Club meets twice a month. Each class is completely different. You can email questions the day of, the day before. You can ask questions in the chat, or I give people opportunity to ask questions. Please tell your friends. I am taking less and less questions on a daily basis, even from some of the clients I work with one-on-one. outside of their sessions, because I'm answering them here and I simply just don't have enough time to answer every single person's question. So I'd rather answer them here. Sometimes we talk about hormones, digestion, blood sugar. I try to always give practical information. Whenever I'm on the airplane eating blueberries and like pumpkin seeds, and I'm thinking, oh, if only someone could videotape this and post it, but I don't have the bandwidth to be a social media. I don't want to live my life that way. I don't want to be tracked and followed. I don't want to be told what to do, and I don't want to spend my entire life videotaping myself. And so I'm not interested in it. I give enough content and enough information, and I think $20 for an hour for the Limitless Health Club and 15% off on products is a really nice gift. And so I hope that you keep coming back and you tell your friends. And with that note, I hope you have a healthy night. See you soon.